Jackie Chan turned 70 this year, and I want to take a moment to appreciate him because Jackie Chan probably had more influence on my martial arts journey than Bruce Lee, than most of the others, with the exception of maybe like Van Damme and Chuck Norris, who were very, very early seeds. And that was entirely because of movies and all that. Jackie Chan is a slightly different scenario because Jackie gave us a lot of things. So let's start with the first and obvious thing. We know that Jackie started out as a stuntman. In fact, he was a stuntman on Enter the Dragon. He was a stuntman for Bruce Lee's team. And when Bruce died, Hong Kong was looking for the next Bruce. They were looking for somebody that they could put over to continue having this breakout success that Bruce had. They really wanted to break into that market. They wanted to keep that power rolling. They wanted a face. They wanted somebody who could be like the martial arts action star that could just kind of go and do that thing on the world stage. And people have talked about this, elsewhere, talked about the actual procedure of his movie career and whatnot. And I'm not going to get into that here because I don't honestly know enough about it. I don't want to misquote things. And I'm not going to go rewatch videos or look up those details. But we do know that Jackie was basically handpicked to be Bruce's successor. But it wasn't until they kind of let him do things his way, not being a mimic, but do things the Jackie Chan way, that he really broke out and really became a star. Well, the funny thing is that even before Jackie became a huge thing here in the US, which really kind of happened in the mid-90s. Now, he'd been doing stuff since the 70s, but it took like 20 years for him to reach our shores. But before Jackie hit our shores, what he had done to reach the world stage was something very interesting. In Japan, a guy named Akira Toriyama, rest in peace, a guy named Akira Toriyama was a big fan of Jackie Chan. In fact, he had been watching Jackie Chan movies. He cited specifically Drunken Boxer. I imagine he'd been watching others. And Bruce Lee as the reasons that he created Dragon Ball. He had been working on Dr. Slump. He wanted to do something new. He created this little drawing that he called Dragon Boy, and his publisher was like, hey, why don't you do a martial arts thing? And there was that whole conversation that led to Dragon Ball. Well, Dragon Ball became such a massive phenomenon. In fact, Dragon Ball is probably responsible for getting more young men into the gym than like any other entertainment property ever. And we honestly owe, at least in a significant portion, we owe that to Jackie Chan. In fact, there's an interview somewhere of Toriyama and Jackie Chan meeting, and they're fans of each other's work and everything. It's really, really cool. So we owe a lot to Jackie Chan on that front, because not only did he make excellent movies and become this big breakout star, but he also influenced Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. All of that came about in part because of Jackie Chan. And that is phenomenal. But there's even one more step. Over in France, you get these Vietnamese refugees, these families of Vietnamese people who moved to France to get away from the communist regime of Vietnam. And in France, they're kind of outcasts. Even though the French government allowed them to come in, they're still kind of set off to the side, and they're outcasts and all that. And you have these Vietnamese families with kids who are growing up watching Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and wanting to do things like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Well, it turns out they were also watching Dragon Ball as well, which, funny enough, right? Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Dragon Ball, which goes back to Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. And so they started just bootstrapping workouts and all this, and they created what we now call parkour. Parkour actually had a bit of a martial arts element initially, because it wasn't just free running as we think of it now. It was more just these guys creating this emergent phenomenon of trying to be tough and skilled and emulate the things that they saw in their favorite entertainers, who were seen as powerful and strong and whatnot. And so we're talking absurd levels of calisthenics. We're obviously talking about all of the parkour, the acrobatics, the tumbling, all of that. And it is absolutely incredible because, of course, by the time you get to the early 2000s, parkour has its moment in the sun, and it kind of takes over the world. And where all the entertainment before was looking at stuff like that as like either gymnastics or martial arts, now we added parkour to the mix, which almost kind of streamlined the ideas of gymnastics and martial arts to an urban environment and practical functional application, as well as the free running guys that kind of took over and went further with that. And because of parkour, we have changed how we process action, both in entertainment and in the real world. And again, Jackie Chan is kind of at the core of that. So Jackie Chan has been a massive influence in my life and in my journey, much more so than Bruce Lee. And the funny thing is, right, like it goes back to Bruce Lee, but Bruce was not a direct influence, not in that way. Like I had heard the stories when I was growing up, but like I'd seen Chinese Connection, I had seen Fists of Fury, and they were okay, but they weren't anywhere near the top of my favorite movies. Like, I liked Van Damme and Chuck Norris way more. Bruce didn't resonate with me that way. So, like, it was there because it was like, oh, this guy's a real martial artist. But then you look at Van Damme and Chuck Norris, who had more, in my opinion, at least to my young developing brain, they were more relatable movies. They followed more of the conventional Western action plot that we're kind of used to over here. And these guys were legit martial artists too. So Bruce directly didn't have that influence on me, but Jackie did, right? Jackie came about in the mid 90s, and like it was like Van Damme and Chuck Norris and He-Man and Thundercats and that 80s stuff moving into the 90s, and we get Power Rangers. Power Rangers kind of took over for me for a while. And then Dragon Ball, but somewhere in between Power Rangers and Dragon Ball was Jackie Chan. And then, of course, off of him, they tried to put over Jet Li, and that worked too, right? And so we had Jackie Chan and Jet Li really being pushed to the West as kind of the guys. And there were other guys that did all right, but like Jackie and Jet were the guys. And I always thought Jet Li was cool, but I liked Jackie better. And, so when we look at this, man, so you got to appreciate Jackie Chan. He has done a lot for the martial arts world. And honestly, I would argue that as a direct reference, he's probably done more for martial arts than Bruce Lee has. Bruce Lee, his influence is ripples in a pond from a couple of generations down the line. Jackie's is a little more direct to now, and I will hold to that. And yes, we probably would not have the Jackie Chan that we got if it weren't for him being part of Bruce Lee's thing. You can't discount that. And it's not like parkour and Dragon Ball came about without them being directly influenced by Bruce Lee, because they were directly influenced by Bruce Lee. But Jackie took it to that next level. The lightheartedness, the comedy, the stunt work, right? The stunt work, which largely came from Chinese opera acrobatics and gymnastics, and Jackie's love of like Buster Keaton movies, the old silent movies, which were full of like street stunts and pratfalls and stuff like that. Jackie wanted to do that stuff. So we owe so much to Jackie Chan. And yeah, I just want to say thank you, Jackie. I don't celebrate birthdays, but happy 70th. That's getting up there, man. So best of health, best of luck, and I will talk to you guys later. Good journey. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on our other socials, and please head over to blacksunboxing.com to get a little more info, including how to contact us. Furthermore, if you are in the Phoenix area, please feel free to stop in, say hi, join in for a class, whatever. Also, if you ever see us cite sources or just for additional content, please check out our Substack. That is where we put all of the sources we use in our videos and is a major part of this. Plus, it serves as a membership platform for long distance learning and for people who would like to support us but aren't local. We would greatly appreciate it if you signed up. Even just the free membership helps us out a lot. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Good journey.